Hi, and welcome to your 11th iOS programming tutorial. And today, we are going to be looking at generating or triggering a random action. So far, we have looked at generating a random number, and then generating random text, and today we'll be looking at generating random actions. So what can this be used for? Well, generating random actions essentially is generating a random method. So you might have, in your applications you might play a song, or you might, when a button is clicked, show an alert, or you might display a web page. But what if you wanted to do one of these things but choose it randomly, rather than having the user press a button or trigger it after a certain delay? You just wanted to do it at random. Well, that's what I'm going to be showing you today. We'll create a series of buttons and randomly hide one of those buttons when you click a button. So let's get started. Open up Xcode and create a new project. What we'll be doing is fairly similar to generating a random number. However, rather than just then generating the random number, we'll then do a switch, and then for case 0, meaning the number is 0, we'll trigger action 0 or action 1, and so on. So once you're in Xcode, create a single view application. I'll call mine random action generator. Use storyboards, automatic reference counting, and include unit tests. I'm only going to make mine for iPhone, but you can do a universal application if you'd like. Let's go into our main storyboard and begin. Let's drag in 6 buttons. So we'll call the first button 1, make it a bit bigger, and then just copy and paste that button a few times. I'll speed this up, but essentially what you need to do is just copy and paste the buttons a few times. I'm doing mine 6 times. You don't even have to follow along with this. You'll probably be triggering an action that you've already written, like playing a song, but seeing that this is a brand new application for me, I'm just going to be showing and hiding buttons. And then I'm going to add a button that says randomly hide a button. And then I'm going to go into my assistant editor by clicking on the little tuxedo icon in the top right corner. After the add interface line, add a curly bracket and press enter. Then right click on randomly hide a button and drag it underneath the closing curly bracket but above at end. Select the connection to be an action, the type ID, event, touch up inside, argument sender, and I'm just going to call this randomly choose action. Okay, for this part here, all I'm going to do is create an outlet for each of these buttons. That's just because I'm going to be hiding and showing each button. If you're not hiding and showing each button, and you are instead triggering a random action that you've already written, like showing an alert, then skip this part, and I'll just do a quick time lapse. All you have to do, though, is right click on your button and drag it between the 2 curly brackets, make sure the connection's an outlet, and call the first one 1, the second one 2, and so on. Okay, welcome back. So I've gone back into my viewcontroller.m and back into my single view editor, and now let's go into our IB action, randomly choose action. In here we'll put the code to randomly trigger an action. So let's first create an int. That's just a number, and the number we'll just call it random action to choose. We are still going to generate a random number, but then from that number work out what number that is and generate a corresponding action. And then we'll go random action to choose equals arc for random percentage 6 semicolon, and then switch random action to choose case and then inside the case bubble type 0, and inside the statements type 1 dot hidden equals yes. Then copy this code here. I'll explain what I'm doing in a moment. But copy those 3 lines there, and then above the default line, paste them. Press enter twice and paste them again, and just do that for as many actions as you have. I've got 6, so I'll paste it 6 times. Okay, so I've pasted it 6 times now, and you'll be getting errors. We need to change case. The second one should be case 1, third should be case 2, fourth case 3, fifth case 4, and 6 case 5. And then I'll change it to 2 dot hidden for the second one, 3 dot hidden for the third one, 4th for the fourth one, 5 for the fifth one, and 6 for the sixth one. Okay, so let me explain what's happening here. We're generating a random number between 0 and 5. And then we're doing a switch, which essentially means if the random number that is generated is 0, then perform this action. If the random number that's generated is a 1, perform this action. If the random number that's generated is a 3, I said 1 before, that's meant to be 2, so that if the random number that's generated is a 1, then do this. If the random number that's generated is a 2, do this. If the random number that's generated is a 3, do this. Random number generated is 4, do this. Or if the random number that is generated is a 5, then do this. Remember that because it's sort of like an array, it starts at 0. So 0 is actually the first thing, and then 5 is actually the sixth thing. So what we're doing here is, this is where you'd insert your custom action. So say I had 6 possible actions. If you wanted 7 possible actions, change this %6 to %7, and then just copy this line here and paste it again for case 6, and so on. I'm just going to have 6 cases because I've got 6 buttons. Here is where you'd put your custom action code. So if I wanted to trigger an alert for the first possible option, then I'd put the code to show an alert here. And then maybe for the second possible random thing, it would play a sound. Well, I'd put the code to play a sound here, and so on. If I wanted to separate it a bit more, right before the end line, after the IB action, what I would do is I'd type dash void action 1, and then open a curly bracket and press enter to close the curly bracket. Then I'd replace 1.hidden equals yes with a square bracket and then type self action 1. And then for 2, I'd copy this and I'd make it action 2. And I'd do self.action2 here. And I'd put the code to do the random action for the first random action in here, just to separate it all a bit more. I'm not going to do that though. I'm just going to keep it like this because each of my actions only involves one line of code. So let me add 1.hidden equals yes back in. The other thing I might want to do is, this could be like one of those door applications where you have to randomly go through doors and select the right door. Anyway, let's run the application and see if it works. So I'll click run. And once the iOS simulator starts up, what should happen is when I click the random action generator button, it will randomly hide one of the 6 buttons. If I click it again, it will randomly hide another one of the 6 buttons, unless the random number that was generated was the same, in which case that one will just stay hidden. So let's click randomly hide a button, and it randomly took away button 4. I'll click it again, and button 2 is now gone. Now button 3. Okay, so when I clicked it just then, nothing happened. That's because either 2, 3, or 4 was hidden again. It ran, the random number that was generated was either 1, 2, or 3, meaning that it just did the same thing again. So let's click it again, and now 6 is gone, 5 is gone, and nothing, 1 is gone. Okay, so I've now shown you how to generate a random action. I hope you found this tutorial interesting, and if you've got anything else that I could randomize and you're not quite sure how to do it, then message us through YouTube, comment on this video, visit our website 99centsappdevelopment.com, or our Facebook page. All the links are in the description. Remember, all the code to do various things like show an alert I've done in previous tutorials, and all you need to copy is the code that you put inside the IB action. Well, in most of my tutorials, we learn how to do things like show an alert. So we'd put the show an alert code inside an IB action for when the button is clicked. So just copy the code to show the alert and paste it inside each case to generate that random thing. You don't actually need to know how to generate a random everything. You just need to know how to generate random numbers, random text, and then how to generate random actions. And that means that you can pretty much randomize absolutely anything. You could even use this to generate random text by going, if you had a label, in this case I've got a button, so I'll just do one.title, label.title, or .text, sorry, and that's just the text of my button. equals at talking mark, semicolon, and then put the text I want to set the button's text to. And that will be a way of generating random text using this method, although I do suggest watching tutorial number 10 when we cover how to properly generate random text. So if you've enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another iOS programming tutorial.